What's up? It's Angel 624 here, about to bring you something a little new. Dunna, dunna, dun 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 dun. Donkey Kong 64 on the N64 and N64 game review. Whoa, an N64 game review. Okay, where do I start? This game came out for Rare and made a tremendous impact. It made one of the biggest impacts on the N64, not as much as you think in terms of sales, but in terms of the technical aspects of it. The game came out in 1999 in North America and was a 3D game. Now, those weren't uncommon. Legend of Zelda came out the year before. Mario came out 2 years before, or 3 years before, that matter, late 96. And they both made impacts, but they both made impacts in sales. This game made impact in the fact that it had literally revolutionized the 3D capabilities of the N64. It required an expansion pack to play, and the fact is that it looked great. The problem is, and that's the first negative. We've talked about the first positive, let's talk about the first negative. The game was not promoted well. Rare has a tendency to not focus on their promotions back then. They let their games speak for themselves. For example, a lot of these games, Banjo-Kazooie, Jet Force Gemini, Banjo-Tooie, Donkey Kong 64, the only game that really was revolutionized in sales was GoldenEye. And the fact is that GoldenEye was revolutionized in sales with the fact that it was taglined on a movie, and people wanted the game because they had seen the movie. And it revolutionized first-person shooters and multiplayer. But these games, the single-player adventure 3D games, just did not sell well, and it is because they were not promoted right and they had little advertising. Donkey Kong 64, barely, I think I saw one advertisement for it. Japan pretty much advertised the shit out of the game. Us in North America, I guess we were just so focused on herring the next generation consoles. You know, that 99 was kind of like, okay, we're moving into 2000. What are we gonna do? I think was what Nintendo was thinking, because 01 would be the release of the GameCube. So people were kind of like, okay, 99's here, PlayStation 2 is coming out, Dreamcast is out, what are we gonna do? They released Donkey Kong 64, and Rare did a wonderful job making this game. The story's simple. K.Roll plotting again, trying to get damn it, Donkey Kong, try and beat you, and has another plot. And, well, let's put it to you this way. It's another typical one. Kong has to fight K.Roll again. K.Roll captures all the Kongs, takes all the golden bananas, and there we go. There's your plot. Simple, but simple works very, very well. What this game did well was the fact that it took a very simple storyline, branched out, different items, different characters, different abilities, different everything. The difficulty was very scattered, and it's beautifully done. For the fact that the first level was easy, but then once you hit the second level, you saw the things were going to start picking up. By the third level, by Frantic Factory, which is the third level, it goes from Jungle Japes, Angry Aztec, Frantic Factory, Gloomy Galleon, and so on. And just the fact that by the time you hit the fourth level, which is Gloomy Galleon, which is probably one of the most boring and hardest levels. See, every game's got to have different levels, mind you. It can't just be too easy, too hard. This game's got to be difficult. It can't just be, by the time you get to the fourth level, you're like, wow, this game is hard. And it is. It's a hard game. But Donkey Kong 64 didn't do as well as people would have liked. It was rated high because of, obviously, its technical prowess and the fact that this game was a 3D game that literally took the N64 and brought it to new levels in terms of 3D. The average it got was an 80, and that was the lowest. The highest it got was an 88. And I don't really like that. I feel like obviously it should have gotten higher. So I'm like I'm looking at this and I'm like, okay. Here's the thing. This is a game that really, 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 if promoted right, probably could have won a Game of the Year slot. It's because this game just was the best. It got the 99, it got Nintendo Power, the overall Game of the Year, and it won at E3 for the best platform, but the fact is it didn't win Game of the Year overall. It was just Nintendo. And maybe E3. And that's prestigious enough, but the fact is that this game probably could have sold better on every market. Because it's just such a wonderful game. I mean, you really, really, really was it's just when you look at this and you're like, you compare it to Super Mario 64, and a lot of people will do that. A lot of people will do that with a lot of games. Because 64 was promoted right, because it was packaged with the N64 as a starter game, and it sold well, obviously, for that reason. But the fact is that this game, it sold decently well, but 99 was a point where, like I said, it was starting to move. The systems, the new generation systems, were starting to be planned. And it's just I think that's what's bothered that is what bothers me, is the fact that people didn't focus on the fact that this was such a good game. People were focusing on, all right, what's coming out next. Another key thing is that on the Wii, this is a game that's not marketed on the Virtual Console because Rare will not give up the rights to it. But I like that. Rare, you're not making good games nowadays, but I give your due. Don't give up a game to Nintendo because they did not market this game to its full potential. Because I feel like they looked at this game and said, well, Mario's not in it. It's a 3D game. Let's throw it in the pile of other 3D games that are coming out. Because you got to remember, 3D games were, at that point, the mainstay. Yeah, Legend of Zelda, Glover, Star Fox, which was a 3D, which at that point broke into a 3D flight game. 3D was just the thing at the point. Another dimension was added, man. The games of the mainstay. I feel like it was just thrown into this pile of games that just didn't make a difference. That it was just another game that was 3D. So we said, screw it, we're gonna throw it in the pile, and that's not fair to it, because this is a game that it didn't do anything wrong. It did everything right and more. So that's my thoughts on Donkey Kong 64. Another video game review. I just can't get away from them. Damn it. I hope that you now pick up your cartridges and go play it. 80624 signing out.